the meaning of human freedom. Will there be free will in heaven? That's a question I first encountered in a list of 10 questions which were sent out by a journalist to a whole host of politicians, bishops, lawyers, and other professionals. It struck me with a dilemma. Heaven is supposedly a place where everything is good, everything is perfect. Surely it's a place you'd always want to be, and somewhere you'd never want to leave. Christians believe that heaven is eternal, life without end. And yet, if the saints can't leave it by rejecting God, doesn't that mean they wouldn't be free anymore? But if being in heaven removes your free will, and our freedom is something we value, then should we really even want to go to heaven? This raises the question of what freedom is. Free will is one of those philosophical debates that never goes away. What does free will actually consist in? Is it real, or are our choices ultimately determined by our material environment? Freedom is an important issue in human society, where one person's freedom seems to clash with that of another. Then there's the question of whether society should punish people if they're not truly free. And should I be free to do whatever I want? Catholic social thinking, however, starts with a distinctive approach to freedom, and it's one where the saints in heaven show us what true freedom is. The life the saints live is the ultimate fulfillment of human nature, where we see human nature perfectly flourishing through the saints' knowledge and love of God and their love for one another. At the core of this blessed life is what we call the beatific vision, the fact that the saints know God as he really is, the supreme good in which there is nothing bad for us at all. This heavenly vision fulfills the human desire for knowledge, for truth, and makes the saints perfectly happy. They know the supreme good so fully that they cannot see anything evil in it, and so cannot turn away from it. But right now, because we do not know God as he really is, we are capable of denying him or his goodness for us, and can do what we know is against his will, because we don't yet have perfect knowledge of him. But the saints do, and they cannot turn away from their true and perfect happiness. The question is whether this fact removes their freedom or perfects it. It certainly removes their ability to sin, to turn away from God. But is that what freedom is really all about? There is certainly a view that freedom is all about choice, the naked ability to choose one thing or the other, even to choose evil rather than good. For this way of thinking, the rejection of God is the ultimate expression of human freedom. Our freedom to turn away from our happiness is what makes us free on this view. But another view is that the ability to sin isn't part of the perfection of our freedom at all. Instead, it's something ultimately defective in human freedom, something that takes away from the perfection of our freedom. If we think for a moment about God, the Catholic faith teaches that God is perfectly free and that he created the world freely. But equally, the Church does not teach that God can sin. Rather, God is too perfect to sin. Yet that does not take away from God's freedom. God can choose most powerfully of all, and this means he always chooses between good and good, not between good and evil. And it's the same for the saints. Where someone can choose between good and evil, that's because their freedom is imperfect, not yet perfect, but still imperfect. This is the situation in which we find ourselves, where our earthly life is meant to be a pilgrimage, one by which, with God's help, We journey from earth to heaven, from imperfect to perfect freedom, from being able to choose evil to being able only to choose the good. It is our higher intellectual way of knowing, unique among all other animals, which opens up the possibility of human freedom. We can conceive of the world of human life in many different ways, and so become free to choose among many possibilities. This is the beginning of human freedom, the starting point of a journey for human nature. The reason why this basic imperfect freedom involves the natural ability to sin is rooted in our creaturehood. Other material creatures can fail to reach their perfection in different ways. Just look around at the way they can be injured or suffer loss, and we are just the same. However, the fact that our human nature includes the immaterial as well as the material, the intellectual as well as the animal, means that we can fail in ways more serious than any other material creature. We can fail in our freedom. Repeated bad action can reduce our freedom and trap us in a cycle of wrongdoing, and then we need to be freed from this slavery. But the difference between imperfect freedom and perfect freedom, and the fact that imperfect freedom is meant to journey to perfect freedom, shows us that freedom is something that can become perfect, something that can grow. This is an idea we easily grasp when we think about how we learn, say, a musical instrument or a language. It takes hard work and discipline, but hard work and discipline open up our freedom. The more we practice, the freer we are to play more and more pieces of beautiful music, and the more and more we are free to express ourselves in the languages we're learning. With practice, this freedom for the good can grow, and the ability to make mistakes diminishes. Our ability to sin, our ability to behave badly, decreases. As true freedom grows, our capacity for wickedness departs, and all this will be crowned in heaven. Human society needs to look out for three things here. We must guard our basic freedoms, fundamental freedom of opinion and freedom of action, even when these can go wrong within due limits. But we must also favor those conditions in which human freedom can grow in virtue rather than decline. And finally, protect the path by which we can make our way with God's help from the freedom of earth to the freedom of heaven.
In the next episode, we will see what links pizza, jewelry, and factory towns. Yes, you've guessed it. It's their connection to justice. If this is the first episode you've watched, we recommend you watch the introductory episode of this series next.